So there we have it. Welcome to Super League World Weekly. Good to have you along. And of course, Greg, we need to start really by, sending our condolences to the family of Harry Gration, MBE, obviously known for Super League, the Super League show, and big journalist up in the Yorkshire region, massive advocate of the game. I think everybody was, first of all, shocked by this news. It was a sudden passing and really sad because, like I say, a very positive journalist in rugby league.
Yeah, we need as many of those as we can get.
Absolutely.
I met him a couple of times through work. He's a really nice bloke.
Yeah.
Knowledgeable about the game as well, which is good. Talked well about the game, promoted it wherever he went, and real sad news. Sad news.
It was, and like I say, we could do with more positivity like that in the world of rugby league. So lots to get through this night tonight, as you can imagine. We'll just kick off by just by quickly looking at things that were going on the other side of the globe last week. We'll just have a quick chat around these things. Obviously, a couple of results first and foremost. Women's Rugby League, St Helens 18, Leeds Rhinos 20. A fantastic game, better than the actual main course.
That was the best. That was the best game. That was the best televised Super League game of the whole weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was.
it was a great game.
Really, really good, and. Obviously backed up by the Women's State of Origin, another great game.
And what a great crowd!
Yeah, just over about 11,500, wasn't it?
What a great crowd in a great ground, and I think I was saying this last week that it was really disappointing when we had the double header at the Halliwell Jones that a lot of people just came in for the men's game.
Yeah.
And when you see what the Aussies, no wonder the streets ahead of us. They've promoted it well. They've supported it well. They just love the rugby league, and come on, let's get behind that. That's for anybody who saw the St Helens Leeds Rhinos game, top draw quality.
Yeah, it was, and a great finish, right? It really got. And the other thing here is, let's not beat about the bush here. This St Helens is a full-time outfit playing Leeds, who are not a full-time outlet. So this is for Leeds to go to St Helens televised and turn them over in the last minute like that can only be good for the women's game in this country.
Can I say as well, very well refereed, I thought.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get on to referees.
I'm sure we'll come on to that.
I'm sure we'll get on to some referees today. And of course, as we said last week, delighted to see that the State of Origin is, of course, going to go to a deciding game. That is marvellous.
Who saw that from New South Wales, though?
Nobody. I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see that at all. I thought, it'd be a lot tighter. But yeah, I mean, fantastic performance by New South Wales. I mean, once they got away. Once they got away,
you're all right there, sir.
Yeah, I've just got the new dog at my feet. Daddy daycare tonight. I've got two young kids to take away on its way and a dog at my feet. But the show, as they say, must go on. Good evening to Freddie McGilvery. Uncle Freddie is on the and good to see your nephew getting his 200th try at the weekend. You must have been delighted with that. Joel as well, also Huddersfield fan with us as always. He will be on cloud 9. Evening guys, Greg Roach saying try of the week. Luke the Sprinter Yates. A lot of Huddersfield fans getting involved here already tonight. And I also know that Tracy Wilson is with us as well somewhere in the background. She won't
see you in the King's Head on Friday night, Tracy. You're disappointed in that.
Yeah, we didn't. I think Tracy was working. I think she did drop us a line. That
pint's gone cold now, I'm afraid.
The pint has gone cold, but this one is particularly fresh. Good evening. Yes. Really, really good game. The New South Wales certainly the women's one was, and we go to a decider in that one as well, which is really
the crowd at Perth was incredible.
Stop Incredible. It. My apologies. I've just got to tell the dog off here. We've only got it for 3 weeks. In fact, come here. You may as well say hello to the. This is what's happening. There you go.
Oh, don't go BBC breakfast on me, mate.
BBC breakfast. That's the problem. The dog. I don't know if you can see it. He's there.
There we go.
There you go. Sit down. Anyway, so yeah, you've got. I don't trust her on her own with the kids, so she's sitting next to me. So I might be, but like I said, never mind. And then of course in the internationals, New Zealand beating Tonga 26-6. Disappointed with Tonga, but I think their preparation was
hindered. New Zealand played really well as well.
They did, and you know, Wolf not being able to go over there. Then, of course, they lined Wayne Bennett up, and then, of course, he couldn't go. And you know, so preparation-wise, not the best. It's got to be said. A really interesting one with the Papua New Guinea result over Fiji, 24-14.
I thought it was a real good game.
Was a good game, but you know, and you know, I don't keep my ear that much to the ground. I have to say, internationally, that side of the world, but that was classed as a bit of a surprise and a bit of a shock. Many expected Fiji to win that one.
Yeah, I mean, but when you look at the size of some of the South Sea Islanders, they're absolutely massive.
Yeah, huge, mate. Absolutely huge.
They're just huge units.
They are indeed. They are.
But yeah, it was a good weekend of international rugby. I enjoyed it.
It was, and of course, then you know we've got this disappointment that you know it looks like over in the Southern Hemisphere they're going to ban the international. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the international. I think the calendar in England needs to be looked at for next year. I think the stop-start nature of Super League this year has been a disgrace. I'm just looking forward to now some consistent weeks of live sport.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because there's the World Cup at the end of the year, perhaps, but I would in future have internationals at the end of the season. A bit like they used to do the Four Nations at the end of the football season many years ago. I'd love to see a Four Nations tournament in rugby league.
Yeah,
A return of the Great Britain side and the Four Nations as a kind of a state of origin, if you like, for Great Britain selection.
There just doesn't seem an appetite for the international game, mate. I mean, you know, and I think that
maybe COVID has got something to do with that.
Maybe, and you know, so the Southern Hemisphere have always been a bit iffy anyway over international rugby league, and I think you're right. I think COVID's played into the hands of that, and
and yet with Union, well, it's the lifeblood of the game, isn't it? International rugby is the lifeblood
of Union, because exactly, but not league, and I think we just need a huge World Cup. That's what's needed.
Every game to be a sellout, and that's why I thought, rather than take it away from the rugby league heartlands, I know what they're trying to do to promote it. Maybe this time after COVID, maybe it was better just to concentrate in the heartlands and get the grounds full.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Anyway, let's get on to more interesting matters. Super League itself, lots going on this week. Lots going. No. International. We've done the Southern Hemisphere. We've done all of that. I mean, massive amount of news coming out. I mean, where are we going to start? First of all, Leeds. Let's start with Leeds. This is a plenary record of Leeds Rhinos this season. I mean, it's come out tonight, and rightly so. Newman has got an extra game. I can't believe.
I saw that just as we came on. Yeah,
can't believe the Rhinos went and disputed that. I mean, you can't condone a player behaving like that to a referee and then try and get off with it. I mean, that was all day long going to be an unsuccessful.
And to tell you, I've lost words. Yeah. The point I was trying to make was when Blake Austin went up to the ref, and whether he's right or wrong, and says if that was James Bentley, it'd be a red card. I'm surprised Blake Austin didn't get a yellow for that, because that's
it's creeping into the game.
You can agree or disagree with it, with that sentiment as much as you like, but to actually that's blatantly saying the refs are cheat. Now, there's been a lot of commentary about referees this week especially, more than for quite some time, and there were some very dodgy decisions. I mean, there's a try that Salford scored. My God, he was in the Trafford Centre when he put the ball down. He was in that far in touch, but he was in the Disney store. But as a player, you can't kind of do things like that, can you?
No, but it's creeping in. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but when Bentley, and we'll see it in the highlights, when Bentley knocked the ball out of Walmsley's hands, he just put 10 minutes up. So he actually you see Walmsley walking up to
he
Bentley
did it deliberately.
With his hands up.
Yeah.
And this is creeping in.
He knew what he was doing, and that's the sad thing.
You mentioned about Blake Austin, mate, saying, if that was, but he's probably right. If it was Bentley, he's going for a walk. But the point is, he's trying to rep the game. And this has been creeping in, and it needs to go.
Yeah.
It needs to go. It's just not a good look.
Do you know who I would love to see in charge of the referees? Nigel Owens, the rugby union referee. I would love for him to be employed by the Rugby League to be the boss of the referees, because he was superb. He took no messaging. I remember a player. Union player waved a card in the air and he turned around to me and said, you want somebody to get 10 minutes, it'll be you. Do that again and you'll be off. And I'm thinking, wow, as soon as a rugby league player waves a card or goes like that, you say, okay, then go and have a sit down, sunshine. You want 10 minutes off, sit down. Well, I think it's 100%. Time for a change. I think it's time for a change at the top of the refereeing system. And I think you're right. A lot of player dissent is creeping into the game.
It is, and it needs to go, mate. It needs to go. It's not acceptable. So, I mean, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Newman because, of course, last year he had, he had Greg Roach here saying great call, Nigel Owens. I think Newman last year had a lot of injuries. He's back this year. I mean, we'll see his try in a minute. It was a wonder try.
He's been out with injury this season as well.
Yeah,
and he played 3 or 4 games. And he's going to miss another 3 now.
And I just can't believe that Newman, especially World Cup year, and all right, it's only in 1 extra game, but why didn't you just step in and say, look, I'll take my medicine here? You can't appeal not guilty to a charge like that, especially when it's a televised game and people can watch it over and over again. It's just what are you doing, son?
And James Bentley has just disciplined himself out of the place in the World Cup squad.
Oh, mate, he is the gift that just keeps on giving. Is James Bentley.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a great
really,
player.
Really but the mad thing is,
a liability.
Mate, the mad thing is, I mean, this season, they've had 2 reds and 10 yellows this year, the Leeds Rhinos. You compare that to Wigan, 1 yellow, 1 red. Which is the best, in the league.
I mean, that challenge Tetevanu was.
Oh, it was a shocker, man.
It was naughty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an absolute shocker.
But is it Matty Lee's? The Matty Lee's challenge? I've seen yellows and reds given for that as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And so there is also a call for more consistency.
100%. Couldn't agree with more.
I'm not condoning it, but you can see why some players will get frustrated. I'm not condoning it in any way, but as fans, we get frustrated.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, our referee on Friday night.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Right. If people will permit me, just to buy me a couple of minutes, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the top performers of the season, just so that I can sort the kids out with the tea. Like I say, we don't do this for a living. It's
like Coronation Street.
It's like a soap opera in this house tonight. That's what happens when you daddy daycare. So I'm just gonna. We'll have a quick look at the top performers, and we'll be back in a second. Right, kids, what part of this are you getting? So there you go. There's the top performers of the league thus far. A couple of new entries there as well this week.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all right. Tom Davies, of course, in there for top meter maker. Come from absolutely nowhere, which was a great effort from him. Tommy Makinson continues to be in and around the charts, which is to be expected. Yeah. Joe Westerman, of course, continuing to lead from the front. Ben Garcia entering the top tackle count, 552, now in 3rd place. So good to see Ben Garcia in there, and Harry Smith as well, taking over from Gareth O'Brien in the top kickers. So quite a few changes there in the top performers this week. Right.
I think Westerman has to go to the World Cup.
Oh, all day. It'd be a scandal. If Westerman didn't go to the World Cup.
I know probably Bateman is probably Sean Wayne's preferred choice at 13, but Westerman has got to be in that squad.
I agree.
Has to be.
Agree.
As does Danny Houghton, I think. No,
I don't see it.
Yeah, I would. And do you know what? I would put him in there ahead of Daz Clark.
Clark's got a job on, mate. Clark's got a job on.
Danny Houghton, for me, I would.
Said that last week.
If he's fit and he's healthy, I would have Houghton in that squad ahead of Daz Clark, and that's from a Warrington fan.
Yeah, it's a long way down the pecking order, I'm afraid, for me, mate. I don't see it. McAloran will go before Danny Houghton will go. Just won't happen. I do, mate. All day. He looks after his mates, doesn't he? That's what he does.
Well, true, but Danny Houghton.
Get it, mate, but it won't happen. As Les Dennis used to say on Family Fortunes, I'll give you the money myself, mate. Won't happen. I'm sorry. Just not going to happen, mate. Don't wish to cut you dead, but not happening, son.
Mate, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
No, it's definitely not.
Like Nigel Owens, he's never going to be head of referees.
Do you know what? A big shout out here to Graham Parrish. I'm sure Graham's a Wakefield fan. Good effort, Graham. Good effort.
Every week. He's with us every week.
Every week, as a Wakefield fan, it was painful that for him last week. So, well done, Graham. Good effort. Well played. Right, it'd be a miss of us not to. I actually got involved in the Warrington blog, whatever you call it, on Facebook, because there was some nonsense being spouted on there in terms of the Warrington salary cap. So big on that, will you? Absolutely boring. And for those, before people start shooting us on the chat, I'm going to show you why in a minute. But in terms of obviously Toby King, we got wind of this Friday night at the game. A couple of sources told us, took us by surprise. Graham's a Hull FC fan. I'm sorry, Graham, I thought you were waking. It took us a bit by surprise. Wardle to Warrington, King, and word on the street, the King one's permanent, albeit it won't be announced until the end of the season. Yeah,
it's a loan deal, a swap deal on loan, because I think, judging by what's being said, that Wardle is going to Wigan on a permanent deal.
Yeah, but the interesting bit on that is that Wardle is contracted to Huddersfield next year as well. So unless the ink is dry on that, if Wardle goes, because clearly Darryl Powell rates him, he's come out and said a lot of nice things about Wardle as Darryl Powell.
Yeah.
If the loan works well, that could be interesting. But we are hearing that the Toby King one is an absolute.
And what a shame in a way for, he's come through the ranks. All right, yeah, he's a Huddersfield lad, but he's been picked up at junior level.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Warrington gets slated for a lot, and in my opinion, quite rightly so, is they don't give youngsters a chance. The same kids at Saints and Wigan will be world beaters. Go on.
Well, we say that, but of course, last week Wrench signs to 2025 and Fewley's to 2026.
Yeah, and maybe things are changing, but this time last year, if you said to me that King was going to Huddersfield, I would have been absolutely fuming.
Oh, we would have been, because at that moment in time, he was an
England shoo-in.
I mean, Saints were sniffing around him when
Saints.
There's a lot of people sniffing around him, but since then, for whatever reason, only he'll know. It's got a little bit awry for him.
Since he signed his new contract.
Joel's in here. He said, he is down for 2023. Wasn't sure about the deal at first, but now think it's very smart move. Wardle is top class when fit. Just needs some game time in World Cup. Yeah, as does Toby King, and it's quite clear that neither Watson with Wardle or Powell with King rate them. But
I did hear, whether this is true or not, and again, I'm not going to say this is true or not, but on the rumour mill, apparently Toby Smith did a bit of a Zach Hardacre and jumped off the coach. Yeah, Toby King did a bit of a Hardacre and jumped off the coach on the way back from Wakefield and was picked up at services. How true that is, I don't know.
Who knows?
That's the rumour mill flying around. So,
Yeah, I mean, and as other teams start to change the roster for next year, then drop us a line. But obviously, we're quite close to the Warrington one. Just to put this salary cap thing, this nonsense to bed. Right, this is the Warrington 2022 squad. The people in are going. And I've included Jack Hughes in that because I genuinely, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think Jack Hughes will be there next year.
No, I think he's definitely on his way out.
I think he's gone now, and I'm not being told that. It's just a gut feeling. And of course, Stephen Ratchford as well, as yet to be announced if he is staying or if he is going.
Rumours are he's already put pen to paper on a 1-year deal
extension,
and it will be announced later this week.
Yeah, which I've heard as well. So hence the reason why we've not put Ratchford in red. But if you look at that, Josh Charlie, he'd have been on a pretty penny when he came back from Rugby Union. Toby King had signed for decent money last year. Widdop, we know, is a marquee. Cooper will be on decent wedge. Jack Hughes, club captain, probably on reasonable money. Jason Clark, probably not on reasonable money, but overseas. Davis, Magulas already gone. Robbie Mullen, we're hearing won't be here next year.
He's turned down a contract.
Yeah, and then of course Ellis Robson, Rob Butler already gone. So when you look at that, that's a massive amount. I mean, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players from 31 players going.
Aribi Doro's gone as well. Aribi Doro
has that been announced?
That list. Yeah, I think so.
I haven't heard that.
I don't think he's coming back.
I haven't heard that, but yeah, like I say, I mean, that's why. So you can see there, yes, the likes of, I mean, would Dudson or Cassiano be on the same amount of money as Matt Cooper? I wouldn't say they would, but they'd be on similar money. It won't be more. When you look at it that way, you look at Ellis Robson, Rob Butler, and Robbie Mullen. One of them would probably take the same of that. Would Warnell be on as much as Toby King? I would expect not. Vaughan will be.
Gosh, Charlie's on a fair wedge as well.
Charlie will be on a fair wedge. So all this talk about the Warrington salary cap. Sorry, but when you look at that graphic, surely you've got to understand. That there's no salary cap issues. Warrington have got a lot of players going.
Every time Warrington sign a player, and I think, to be fair, they've gained a reputation because of their transfer policy in the last 10, 15 years. That
I agree.
We get battered for the salary cap, and maybe we deserve what we get. But I'm sure that we would have been pulled up if we'd have breached the salary cap. I've got no doubts about it.
Well, other teams have been, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. And and we always get Josh Charlie's missus is the highest paid cleaner in Wigan. Well, in Warrington. Well, to be honest, there were a lot of players at Wigan who had the wives on decent salaries a few years ago.
Well,
so every team does it.
It goes on.
Every team does it. They've all got offshore accounts.
Yeah.
So. It's boring now that the salary cap thing that gets flung us all the time.
Couldn't agree with you more. Anything else caught your eye in the news this week before we get on to the round 16?
There's been a few contract signings. Huddersfield with our friend, what's his name? Kenny Edwards. Yeah, has signed an extension.
Yeah.
Just the rumour mill, the usual rumour mill flying around.
You've got to wait for Hull FC. I mean, especially Luke Gale. I mean, all right, it's only an HIA. He'll miss this week. He'll be back probably the week after. But the Reynolds being allowed to go. Connor obviously injured. Now Gale picking up a HIA. McNamara still out, I believe. Tracy will correct me. I think he's still struggling with his back.
Yeah.
Really
broken leg.
Yeah, but in the halves especially, really, really struggling in the halves. And
and do you know? And again, no disrespect to the Hull fans, because I know we've got a lot of Hull fans on here who watch us every week, and thank you for that. But on Friday night, they had a winger who couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And we had a half-back pairing who couldn't exploit that.
I know.
That is what terrifies me.
The North Stand was screaming because he was on one leg. I mean, they were absolutely screaming.
Fair play to the guy. He played on for about 10 minutes with a broken leg. Give or take 5 minutes. Give or take half an hour. But he played on.
He did play on.
He did play on. Half-back pairing.
Yeah, it was like the band on the Titanic, mate. He played on.
Somebody. I'm not going to go any further with that one. But a decent.
You've lost your way now.
I have now. I've just got an image in my mind that I don't want to see again. But a decent leader of a rugby league team would have spotted that.
Yeah, I agree.
Targeted it, and that's no disrespect. But look at when Saints scored that China semi-final. Yeah. When was it Josh Griffin? His Achilles popped. Yeah. Dropped the ball. Saints player picks up, scores it. Everybody's in outcry, but he's done nothing wrong.
No,
that's a player with brains exploiting the situation.
Absolutely. Well, good evening to Steve Wilson. He's telling me that McNamara's out for another 3 to 4 weeks. He's about 3 to 4 weeks away. Barry Williams is there. It's Barry. Sorry, it's not Graham. It's Barry. Barry's the Wakefield fan. Well done, Barry. Well done for coming in. It's going to be quite painful for you in a moment to relive what's about to happen. But there you go. And Steve likes the similar to the Titanic. He says they're sinking like it, which is quite interesting. I'm sure. Right. Let's take a look then. Let's get in there. Let's take a look. Of course, these were the fixtures. In round 16, St Helens kicking off against Leeds Rhinos. Then, of course, Warrington Wolves took on Hull FC. Wigan Warriors, Toulouse. Castleford against Catalan. Hull KR, Huddersfield Giants. And, of course, finally Salford against Wakefield, which we'll get to in a minute. But before we do all that, let's see who the top performers were of round 16 before we get into the action. Here we go. So there you go. They were the top performers of round number 16. James Bin saying, any Giants news other than Wardle? We haven't heard much, James. Unless you know more, get in touch, let us know. But yeah, round 16's kicked off, of course, St Helens taking on the Leeds Rhinos. I can imagine where we're going to go with this one. Let's start the.
Yeah, can I say while you start that? Can I say something? Yes, Sky, we get it. James Roby's a great player, but you don't need to keep telling us every 2 minutes that he's a great player.
Yeah, I agree.
It gets boring. I mean, they called him St James, the Paul McCartney of rugby league, and then Bill Arthur actually said he's the greatest rugby league player there's ever been. Hello.
That's a bit rich. I have to say.
No,
that's getting a bit carried away.
He's a great player.
He's not the best.
But ever. I'm sure
he's a long way off that.
Yeah.
There's an army of players before James Roby.
I'm sure Mal Meninga, Peter Sterling, Wally Lewis,
Andrew Johns. There's Morgan Knowles. His little pass. We've got to tip a wink. First of all, Conrad Hall's great first try. Lovely ball around the corner there from.
I think this is forward. To be honest, I think this is a forward.
You know what, mate? We showed that game last week from the NRL, and there was glimpses in this game. I mean, this from Newman was just beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Spoils it.
Yeah, but no, he doesn't spoil the try. He lets himself down, mate. That's a great try. It's a great try. I mean, I actually counted. I think he went past 6 men. Six men. It's phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. Really, really good. And of course, this one was the controversy one.
This is never a try in a million years, and this is why the sending it up as a try or no try has got to stop.
Yeah.
And we have got, if you just pause it a minute, we have, I mean, what's his name? What's his name? Brian Carney. I'm so incensed.
You're incensed by this.
Brian Carney said he saw at least 2 pinkies on that ball. Oh, no, you didn't, Brian.
No.
And if you did, then you need to stay off the beer at half time.
But what I would say, the move leading up to that, all right,
It's a great move.
Was a phenomenal move.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. I mean, again, going back to that NRL game we showed last week, the quality of the rugby that Saints played up to that point when Grace went over was out of this world.
But it's never a try. It's never.
And I think from a Leeds perspective, I think you can't. Yes, you feel a bit hard done by that, but you've got to rally, haven't you? And they absolutely capitulate in the second half. They really do. Since Rowan Smith has come in, they had that, of course, win against us, and everybody was like, "Oh, here we go." But actually, it's just not materialised that way, has it? They're still. I mean, Aidan Caesar back. Where is this guy? I mean,
he was anonymous.
Again,
I mean, Blake Austin, to give him some credit, was all right.
Yeah.
Was a lot better than he has been recently, apart from against us.
Yeah.
But he was all right. But Aidan Caesar, I don't know.
No. Again, there with Bentley. I mean, all right, there wasn't much in it. Yeah, there wasn't much in it. But why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? It's silly. It's absolutely silly. I just don't get it at all. I mean, it's a lovely pass from Lomax, a lovely delayed ball. Really, really nice.
But he knows what he's doing. He can stop himself.
It's silly. I mean,
he can stop himself.
Doesn't have to even go to ground.
That should have been an 8-point try.
I agree, mate. I agree. Well, we saw one at Warrington, didn't we? We saw one at Warrington against Huddersfield. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was there. Pleased for the young man. It's Norman, that, isn't it? Is that Norman?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, the new kid for
nice handoff.
Was a nice handoff. Yeah, he's a that's the future of St. Helens right there. That's what it is.
And again, going back to the Warrington situation with their kids and Saints and Wigan, they bring them through and they trust them, and is that where Newman?
Yeah, lose it. And to be, I don't know what he lost it for, unless there was something in back play. Because you can see it there. That ball's on that ball's a try. It's a try. It hits the floor there.
Yeah,
so it is a try.
It's a close one, but
I mean, in real time, I get it. But I mean, you've got to keep your head, Harry lad. You can't go behaving like that, son. It's just not.
I think we need to bring a bunker style decision making process in.
Captain's challenge as well. We've said that many times.
Captain's challenge,
and there's a few things.
We have got to, and I think most rugby league fans, and I hope. All right, I'd like to see what people who are watching this tonight and what people who are watching later on.
Yeah.
Do we want to get rid of sending a try up?
Pryor manages to stop him.
Well, hang on.
Fires the pass on.
Crack on.
The dulcet tones of Sir William Arthur there.
Indeed, yes.
Do they want to see the end of this, sending it up as a try and a no try? I think I know the answer.
You probably do.
But I'd like.
Gone again. There he is again. Bill wants to be a part of the show tonight.
Bill, you don't talk sense most of the time, so don't try and get in on my gig, mate.
Yeah.
This is a guy called James Roby, the greatest rugby league player there's ever been.
Yeah, I've just noticed, like I say, I'm finding myself going back. One of these weeks I will get everything right, but I've just noticed I've not put the man of the match on or the attendance on. So the attendance for St. Helens, 11,628 were there to watch this game at St. Helens. Who's your man of the match on the night?
I thought Alex Walmsley. Thought he was superb.
Yeah, Walmsley. Mate, he loves Leeds, mate. He loves Leeds. I mean, again, some of his runs in this game, absolutely out of this world. Yeah. Really, really good.
Something that was on social media I thought was a bit out of order. I think it might have been a Saints fan. Put a picture of the Saints fans at Headingley and compared it to a picture of the Leeds fans at St. Helens, saying, "Oh, Leeds, so you're still the biggest rugby league club in the world." And I thought, there's rail strikes, there's a cost of living crisis. It's a Thursday night, a lot of people in work tomorrow. I thought, come on, you're a bit out of order with that. Leeds aren't playing that well. It's on TV, and I think, come on,
mate. Look, we've spoken many, many times on this program in terms of the Sky schedule. I mean, again, Warrington, you've got a Friday night game there where you're expecting people from Hull to travel all the way down to Warrington.
But we do it on purpose because you want bums on armchairs.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
And it's not good enough. That to me is not promoting the game. You don't want bums on armchairs. You want feet in the stadium, and you want people to go home and then watch the game when they've recorded it from Sky afterwards. That's what you want. You want full stadiums.
Yeah, I think because again, it makes for a better TV spectacle anyway, mate. It says here, Joel's coming in. Leads are a poor side. Steve Wilson says Joel saying captain's challenge is a way forward. Andy and Sue, good evening, Andy and Sue.
Are they in the same room?
I don't know. Andy and Sue, Castleford, of course. If referees are not sure, then video referee makes the final decision without being instructed from the field. Completely agree with that. Greg Roach, captain's challenge on all broadcasted games improves games, but not Harvey Norman. Let captains challenge refs' decisions if they believe it. Interesting point there by Greg. Right, let's get back into it. Look, we're going to struggle here for highlights, but let's do it anyway. Warrington against Hull FC. One for the purists. I actually enjoyed it. It was an arm wrestle. It was two teams that are low on confidence. Really, centre field game. It was one for the purists, but I'm still wondering why Josh Fulis' try isn't a try. I'm also wondering how that's not 10 minutes at the very least.
It's a penalty, and it's James Child, mate. It's James Child. Who knows what goes on in the head of James Child?
Yeah.
That is a penalty in 10 minutes all day long.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree.
Changes the direction of his run.
Yeah.
Graham saying puts his arm between his legs and pulls him back.
Yeah, Graham saying that he could have played all night and that's good a try. I genuinely think the Josh Fulis try was a try. That wasn't a forward pass. I'm sorry, it wasn't. You see a lot worse than that. Not called back.
There was also an outrageous head-high tackle on George Williams as well that wasn't penalised.
It was, yeah. You're right. This was, to be fair, that's unlucky for Luke Gale there. Yeah. To be fair,
and great defence. Let's face it, great defence.
Well, and this is it. People say, all right. I think there was times.
Is that where he got his head injury?
That's where he got the head injury. There's times during the game where there was opportunities like this, but sometimes you've got to give credit to defence. And actually, both teams defended for their lives. They really did. It was some really good defence on show on the evening. But like I say, mate, the Fulis one for me was a try all day long. I'm sorry. Obviously, Joe Philbin.
The linesman was still moving when Fulis went over the line. So therefore, if the touch doesn't give it, how can the ref give it?
Yeah. Philbin out for the season?
Yeah.
Shame.
Feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Took a lot of stick, but he's on his day, he's a great player.
In support of our Hull fans, actually, just going back to that infringement. How many times do you see in rugby league that same offence where the referee gets them to put the ball back in the player's hand and play it?
Yeah.
If I'm a Hull FC fan there,
he's given a scrum there.
Mate, if I'm a Hull FC fan there, I'm scratching my head. How many times do we see a referee blow again and say, no, give him back the ball, I called held. Yeah, and this is it with James. I just did not I think great for Warrington, don't get me wrong. But if I'm a Hull FC fan there, I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming.
And this goes back to the inconsistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we get the people, what if you say anything against the referee? You get people chiming in and saying, but without a referee, there's no game. And I completely see that. But at the minute, people are walking away from the game because of the referees.
No, I agree,
and
mate.
They have to improve.
They do, mate.
It has to be. This is the try. This is the try, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is. This isn't the try. It's interesting the amount of times this season Warrington have gone through the line and have failed to turn it into a try. Yeah. Great example coming up from Wigan. Bevan French is all I want to say. Composure, supporting the man, no panic, in you go. Warrington could learn a lot from watching that video over the next couple of weeks because that's how you play an overlap.
Yeah, I'm afraid Warrington need creative halfbacks, and they just at the minute they've not got them.
Well, we're gonna, we couldn't have a worse week to play Salford, who run riot against Wakefield and actually play some lovely rugby league. I think Wakefield will probably argue they couldn't have probably been any worse. But
I couldn't believe you missed this.
No, I couldn't. But when you see it, we're going to see it later. But Harvey Levette, having a few kicks as well. Little dink throughs and creating tries. Fair play to Harvey Levette, but. Surprised on the highlight reel, it didn't show Fulis bringing it out from behind the sticks, which was nice. Albeit Sky, that's a try. I'm sorry. It's never a forward pass in a million years. But again, you talk about poor elements of Sky. By all accounts, it was Conor Wrench who brought it out not Josh Fewless.
Yeah. Well, they get Connor Hench and Josh Fewless mixed up week in, week out. This is never forward.
No,
Look at that.
No. I'm sorry. I don't see that as forward. I'm sorry.
Linesman's still going.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah. I'm with you. I didn't see it. Didn't see it at all.
It's just James
Steve's back with us 4. Hull did well. Our backs, your defence was solid, mate.
Yeah.
Going forward, but he said that himself there. Yeah, solid in defence, a very weak inside, and still didn't concede a try. Absolutely, and like I say, sometimes as a rugby league fan, you've got to pay. Defence wins games. Yeah.
I mean, Hull still could have won that in the last few minutes.
Absolutely. 100%.
And that was squeaky bum time in the last 3 minutes when James Howe was giving penalty.
Yeah, he did. He did indeed. He did. Oh, that's a point. Actually, I just saw a picture. Don't know if you saw it. We're about to wax lyrical about Wigan, so we'll balance it up a little bit. Have you seen that mural? That actually,
yes. I knew there was something I had to talk about.
Ben
Flower ending somebody's career, and it's in the highlights.
I know. Oh, mate, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I'm like, dearie me. Oh, mate.
I tell you what, let's include in the mural somebody ending another player's career.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what?
I couldn't believe when I saw that. Oh.
Let's just open the floodgates. Let's just open that door on social media and bring them all in.
Oh,
whose idea was that?
We're getting thumbs up on that as well. I was surprised that we didn't see Michael Maguire flying over the whole thing on a cannonball. You know what I mean? Just if we're going to do that,
we could have Steph Ratchford being taken off with his ankles around his ears.
Oh, it was a gem, wasn't it? He's got the same. He's certainly got the same telling supporters. But anyway, that's us. I say we'll balance it up now because Wigan. They are looking the part. If you're saying tellings, this is your threat for me. Wigan they've got a lot of class about them this year. They really have.
They've gone through a by their standards a relatively poor year.
Yeah.
And this is what Wigan do. Wigan very, very rarely have 2 poor years on the bounce.
Yeah. And of course, putting Field in the halves, and I think that allowing Bevan French to go back to full back.
He's a kind of a Phil Blake kind of player. For those of you who remember Phil Blake at Warrington, that's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Phil Blake. He's that kind of elusive maverick player that I think every rugby league team needs.
Absolutely, and they're the players that you go and watch, aren't they?
Yeah. The thing about Wigan this year, they're not formulaic because they've got French and Field.
No,
they're off the cuff. They play off
Absolutely.
the cuff. They play good rugby, and Saints do to a certain degree as well.
Yeah, they're a nightmare to defend, mate. They're a nightmare to defend this year, Wigan. They really are. They've got strike all over there, and when you've got the backup elements like Liam Farrell, who always tips in, doesn't he?
Yeah, John Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman as well is dangerous on his day. Look at the hands there. The hands there from Bevan French. French had a belting. He did have a good game, Bevan French.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to Hull next year myself.
Wigan have got to. I mean, look, if you're Wigan, you've got to try and find a way, haven't you? And because this year they've been absolutely electric, the pair of them. And what's really good as well, and you can tell that Field and French are actually complementing each other. There's no ego there. I mean, they're just doing really well. I mean, Miskey thought it was Christmas, didn't he? I mean, he really did. Thought it was Christmas.
I mean, but there's no ego there.
No,
absolutely. There's no ego. They're just enjoying the rugby league. They know what they do and they do it well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as a result, I think Jay Field has lifted the rest of the team.
I think this is the try I'm talking about now. Yeah, watch French. Slows down now, speeds back up. That's how you do it. Yeah. That's how you do it. The amount of times this year I've seen Warrington break the line like that, and just a lack of composure. We saw it. I think we saw it against Hull where Ratchford overran the ball from cover. What are we doing? And that's a great example there that Bevan French gives. He passed the ball out to Marshall. He then slowed himself down, waited, and then accelerated again. Exactly the way to do it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a great luxury in sport when you know that you have 1 or 2 players that, no matter how hard it is to get through, you've got one or two players who are going to do something magical and win the game for you, and that's what Wigan have got.
Yeah.
And it's it's like the old West Indies team in the 80s. They could have been 50 for 7, but somebody would step up and hit 200 and win the game for them. It's like United with Ronaldo and with, in the Busby Babes, he had somebody who would
feel there, mate. I mean, first of all, the ball was like 20 yards behind him, and somehow he managed to keep hold of it, and then twinkle toes his way through.
It's a lovely position to be in a team where you know that somebody is going to step up and do something off the cuff, something magical, and just win the game for you. It's a brilliant position to be in, and there's not many teams in a position in Super League to have that luxury, I think.
No, you're right. And no, really, really good. Warrington's attendance.
There's Ben Flowers' punch there.
Yeah, that's what reminded me. 8,000. Warrington had 8,591. Wigan had 14,493 against Toulouse. Against Toulouse, that's a hell of a crowd. So well done. Well done to Wigan and the Wigan supporters there coming out in numbers to watch the Toulouse game. So well done to them. Then we come to what can only be described as a surprise, a real surprise. But it just goes to show that on the day, any Super League team can turn it on. Credit to Castleford; they stayed in the arm wrestle, and of course got over when it mattered.
Well, I thought this had actually finished at 16-all. I must admit, I got told that Golden Point after Golden Point finished at 16-all. Again, I think Golden Point has to disappear as well.
Yeah, what's up with a good old-fashioned draw? I don't disagree with that. I think a good old-fashioned draw. I mean, neither team certainly good. I mean, fair play to McAlorum there; he did well. And Truman
we're talking about players' welfare. Why make them play an extra?
Absolutely, and neither team deserves to lose this one for me. But
it was an old-fashioned arm wrestle.
Yeah,
it was a great game.
You've got to give Castleford credit. You really do. I mean, the try at the end that got them back to 16-all.
And this is not me having a go at because Castleford have won. I genuinely don't like Golden Point.
No,
I think if you've gone to a ground and ground out a draw, you deserve a point.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know if you've heard this. I mean, Andy and Sue, of course, Cass fans, they were delighted with the win, and rightly so.
I don't know I'm not having a dig at Castleford because they've won. I just don't like the idea of Golden Point.
I think everybody agrees with you, mate. I think I don't know if you've heard this, and it'd be interesting if Andy and Sue's heard this. They're all first to Warrington.
Oh no, I've not heard that.
Have you not heard that? Yeah. That came out this week. I don't know how much legs that's got or not.
I'm not being funny, but do we need it?
Well, and this is what it was. It was really, really odd from where I was sat as well. When I got into that.
First, but we've got Wrench, Hewless, Ashton.
Yeah. No, don't disagree with you. This, of course, was the final Uta. And then, of course, like it always is, Golden Point. It's all about the drop goal. And Danny Richardson popping one over. Well done to Danny. Just slots it over there to give Castleford, the Golden Point win. And Lee Radford would have been, delighted with that. The way Catalan. I mean, Catalan all of a sudden have become a little bit. A bit all over the place, but
they've got a few injuries, Catalan. I mean, Artemog's out for a while.
Yeah, McMeekin and Davis has been added to that list as well today. So
it could be a rocky patch. I mean, if ever there's a time to play Catalan at Magic Weekend in a couple of weeks, this could be it.
Yeah, could be, mate. Could be. Right, Huddersfield Giants. What can you say? Outstanding yet again. Obviously went behind at Craven Park. A bit fortuitous that there from Mr. Parcell, it has to be said. But from this point on, Huddersfield, sensational.
Yeah. That was a lucky try.
Yeah.
No disrespect, as ever. But to go there and to win by that margin is phenomenal. And
absolutely.
To be 10 points down as well.
Absolutely. Like I say, it's as good as it got for all KR, wasn't it? And, like I say, unbelievable.
Why is he going to the screen for that?
Well, again, it's odd. It's an odd one. It's an odd one. But there you go. There you go. And I tell you, had a couple of nice moments in this game, and we've given a lot of plaudits this year. Frankie Alton had a couple of nice moments in this game. Huddersfield, the dark horses, Steve Wilson says. Joel, don't get too excited, Joel. Joel says they were, we just seemed unstoppable, says Joel.
Listen, guys, I tipped you last year, so.
You did. Yeah. And Leroy, good old Leroy.
Did he drop that? Did he drop that?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know whether he did,
But Leroy, hat-trick for Leroy.
Yes. Hey? Did he drop it?
No,
I don't know.
Fingertip control, as Steve-O used to say. Fingertip control.
I'm not sure, but hey, let's give it to him.
Yeah, let's.
I'm not going to argue with him.
And again, Hull KR, again, I don't know if you saw this, but reports coming out, do they part company with Tony Smith early? Ooh, I tell you, I mean, it's all gone wrong since that announcement, hasn't it?
Rumblings, yeah. Well, it's understandable in a way, but then again, you think the players have got to be playing for the new coach and to show that they're up for it.
You'd think so, but again, fortuitous bounce there. Don't let a rugby ball bounce.
Although we did at Warrington see this when Tony Smith announced he was leaving Warrington, we saw the same kind of thing, didn't we? That it kind of tailed off,
got worse and worse. Freddie McGilvery, there he is. Freddie will be loving this in a minute. Loving it.
Freddie will be shouting at me for telling me he dropped.
Freddie there, Leroy rolling back the years. Here he comes, the fastest man in Super League, Luke Yates. Off he go. I mean,
look at that.
Lachlan Coote was carrying a knock. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I have to say, when you see Luke Yates going in and out like that, you think, what we're watching here, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is wingers. This is some wingers would be proud of this. This in and out here from Luke Yates. Hello, look at that. Deary me, I half expected him to trip over his feet. Incredible stuff.
If James Roby had done that, they'd have to get a restraining order out on Bill Arthur.
Mate, absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible.
It was a great
look at this again here. Just look at that support play on each other's shoulders. Ricky Latelli expected to be out probably for a while, I'm guessing. Picked up a bad knock. Again, I don't know if people from Huddersfield who are watching tonight.
And again, that's a shame because he's been flying in recent weeks.
He has, and
he's a good player.
Timely for Toby King to be coming in based on that.
He's not Ricky Latelli though, is he?
He's not. He's certainly not on current form. No. But here's Leroy going in for his hat trick. Nicely assisted by Mr. McGilvery.
Yeah.
Got to keep Freddie sweet. Got to keep him sweet. Got to keep him coming back week after week, haven't we?
And bring his friends along too.
That's a lovely little pass. Lovely little pass. Yes, that's a good point, those of you who are watching. I do hope that you've shared tonight's show with your own personal Facebook community. Get more people watching. That'd be marvellous. But here we go. Oh, look at that. It's a beauty. Beautiful step, that.
Yeah.
What's this?
Oh!
Sit yourself down, Chief. That was a cracking step.
That was Leon-esque.
It was lovely, mate. Mate, that was lovely, mate. And here it is. 200 tries for Jermaine McGilvery. There he goes. In he goes. Fantastic stuff. You've got to be delighted. I mean, McGilvery and Good Joe, how many years have they been going now? And in this game, it was the combination on the right-hand side was superb.
They rolled back the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely rolled back the years. Yeah,
Alan Holroyd says he's Freddie's friend. They are. Freddie's been spreading the word. Good man, Freddie. Alan Holroyd's with us, and he's giving us a like for that. He's loving it, Alan. He's loving this first show. Good man. I think it's your first show. Tell me if I'm wrong. Might have been here last week. But yeah, no, Huddersfield.
Sorry. Apologies.
Can you class them as dark horses?
They weren't telling down with it because it was a try that got disallowed.
Can you class them as dark horses? Because I think the quality of the rugby that they're playing. I mean, am I right in thinking in 2 weeks' time they go to, or is it this week they go to Saints? No, it's 2 weeks. Got Castleford this week, haven't they? And then I think
they're playing Saints at Magic.
No, it'd be Wigan Saints at Magic, won't it? I would have thought.
Well, it's Magic the week after next.
Oh, right, might be the week after that then. I know they've got Saints coming up. So that for me is going to be a real temperature gauge.
They're contenders.
All day. They were unlucky in the Challenge Cup final against Wigan. All day, the contenders.
Really unlucky. I think it's Salford a couple of years ago. Really unlucky in the Challenge Cup final. Really unlucky in the grand final. Are you laughing at me or what?
No, Fred, no. Greg Roach has just come in saying that the Giants' right edge is over 70.
Bloody hell, I'd fit in there all right then.
Salford at Magic for Huddersfield. Joel saying he's going to the Saints game. When is that Saints game, Joel? Let us know when it is. I know it's coming up. That's going to be a big one. Sorry, mate. Carry on.
A rumor.
Yeah,
you told me I'd heard rumors, and I said not that I'm aware of, but I have. Ian Watson to the NRL.
Yeah, I heard
that. Could, if I were a Huddersfield fan, and I like Huddersfield, know, we've said that, I'd be very worried if that's the case. And I would be.
Well, we know there's jobs, isn't there? The Bulldogs are still to announce.
Ian Watson wouldn't be fancying his chances in the NRL. I think
we know
maybe not this year, Huddersfield fans, and I'm sorry. I think
you were joking, Alan. Alan's just said there that the Saints Huddersfield game is not on Sky. That's absolute scandalous. Scandalous. 15th of July. They've got time to change that.
It depends who Leeds are playing. They'll be on.
They've got time. They've got time to change that. But interesting you say about NRL. Kristen Wolf, it's come out this week that he has been offered, I think, the Canterbury Bulldogs job, and he's turned it down. So we do know the NRL are sniffing around.
If Ian Watson stays, going back to your original question, if Ian Watson stays, I think Huddersfield will be contenders, but probably not quite this year.
Yeah.
Because I think Wigan and Saints are a little bit too strong. But if Huddersfield add to their squad again and play the rugby they're playing next season, they're playing this season, I could quite easily see them do it next year.
Mate, nobody's going to want to play Huddersfield. If Huddersfield can carry this form on, it's going to be very interesting. And Watson's got history, hasn't he?
There's a kiss of death. I tipped him last year.
You did. Well, you did.
Sorry, Huddersfield fans. I've absolutely.
Yeah, that was last year. This is this year. They've got a chance. Who did you tip this year?
Leeds.
Oh, well, there you go. See, that's why Leeds are where Leeds are.
Right.
Let's see this.
I'll tip Saints and Wigan next year to be in the grand final.
That'd be nice. Alan Holroyd, obviously very keen for McQueen to sign on at Huddersfield, and rightly so. McQueen's been outstanding this season.
Superb player.
Right, again, Wakefield took an early lead. Bachelor going in early doors.
It was Wakefield that were 10-0 up, wasn't it?
Perhaps. Well, we're about to find out.
Maybe not. No.
Maybe not. Harvey Levette there, little dink through, and he does it again in a minute as well. Tim Lafay, another player that this year we've really enjoyed watching here on Super League Raw. Really, really good. But I'll tell you what was interesting in this game. The combination between Sneed, Croft, and Braley. Really, really good in the middle. Of course,
super.
Dion Cross had a good game, and he's been a player this year. That's we've given a lot of plaudits to Lafay, but Cross has had a good season as well.
He's kind of flown under the radar, hasn't he? He's played really well.
There goes Ken, and now joint top try scorer now with Tommy Makinson at the top of the try scoring charts with that one. Yeah. That's what I mean about the combination. Sneed there to Braley, then Lafay. Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Burgess, that's a great run. Yeah. He's still got a lot to do there.
No, that wasn't the one. There's a try where.
Oh, his last one, his hat-trick try, out in touch all day long.
Oh, mate, all day long. Not given. I've no idea.
No, I don't either. There you are again. Harvey Levette, little dink through twice. It's ridiculous, really.
He's a good player, Harvey Levette.
He's a good player.
He's a good player and should have been kept at Warrington.
Yeah, he is a good player. And there goes Brody on his way. And again, Braley. Braley, great balance. The way he arched his body there got him the try. That because when he gets that ball, those two players are in very close proximity.
That was a mile forward. That pass was a mile forward.
There you go again. Elijah Wood, of course. Elijah Taylor. There we go with Elijah Wood. Elijah Taylor. He's going to be out for the Warrington game, isn't he? He's been for games banned.
Suspension.
Yeah, there's Brody Croft.
I don't think it'll make much difference, mate. I really don't think it'll make much difference.
I think if you're Warrington, one thing's for certain, Warrington are going to have to score points on Sunday because what we've seen here from Salford is a free-flowing team who got great hands. I mean, I have to say, some of the handwork in this was outstanding. I mean, when you're seeing the ball going through hands, it really is, right to left, some lovely stuff.
It just clicked. It just clicked with him. I mean, no, I tipped Wakefield to win. I thought Wakefield would actually win.
Yeah,
you did, mate. You did. Salford just clicked.
He did.
And
outstanding.
It worries me.
And listen, I mean, every try, it's right to left, left to right. I mean, it's just outstanding. I mean, and Burgess here, not panicking, off he goes. I mean, as a Wakefield fan, you're disappointed there with the defence, but I mean, look at that. I mean, it's just clean. Again, I'm not disagreeing with marginally forward. Yeah, I don't disagree. But I mean, when you're already 44-10 down, does it really matter? I mean, the last.
If it's forward, it's forward.
Of course it is, yeah.
That's what the scoreboard says, mate.
No, I agree. No, and I'm not disagreeing with that, and I'm not. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to make Wakefield feel any better, is it? I mean, it was an absolute car crash, really.
It was a rout, a good old-fashioned rout.
Yeah, and it's one of those that Willie Poaching will be concerned, because those are the type of games he needs a response this week. I don't think he's going to get one, but he needs a response this week, because this is a result that gets the boardroom a little bit nervous, doesn't it? Especially when you're already down that end of the table.
I think there's a few teams who are thanking the good Lord above that to lose are in this league this season.
Absolutely. No, and I think this is the trying question. I mean, if you actually count, you can count his leg on 1, 2. Oh, sorry, that's not even close. That is not even close. I mean, that touch judge, whoever he is, I mean, again, just count, ladies and gentlemen. Just count 1, 2. Look at his foot and look at his hand. Here we go. 1, 2. Oh, it's out all day long. All day long. I mean, there was a great.
Somebody put a great quote. Well, it's maybe not a great quote. Maybe it's a bit controversial, but so he said, "Touch judge is about as much use as a mop and bucket in a tsunami." Yeah.
What a gem.
Maybe I'm going to get cancelled for that. I don't know. But
what a gem. Love it. Absolutely.
I didn't say that, so you can't cancel me. No. Thank you.
Well, Steve Wilson is saying that no Super League club should be nil by that amount. It happens, mate. It happens. It happens to every team. I remember Warrington getting a hiding one year. No, Wigan got a hiding one year. It can happen, and I think your point, Greg, it clicked. It clicked, and it clicked really, really well.
And it worries me as a Warrington fan that if it clicks again, there's going to be a similar scoreline on Sunday.
Warrington need to be on the.
We've got a pair of halfbacks who can't target somebody with one leg.
Well, Joel's saying here that Watson has come out and said that he doesn't want to go to the NRL just yet. It is an ambition, but not quite yet, which is good news for Huddersfield fans. Read into that what you will. Right, okay, so let's, I think it's that time of the week. Let's take a look at the team of the week. It is that time that we always look forward to. So without further ado, let's get into team of the week.
Already, and I've not seen it yet.
Team of the week for round number 16. Here we go again. And at fullback this week will be Ryan Brearley of the Salford Red Devils. He was fantastic in this game. Look at those meters, 125. He was assisting, he was running, he was scoring. What a performance. Well played, Ryan. Keeping out Bevan French. At number 2, Abbas Miski on the right edge for the Wigan Warriors. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 tries for Abbas this week. Fantastic performance on 166 meters to boot. A fantastic display from a great player. And number 3, it's Leroy Kudrow. He's been around for ages. Surely by now he should be on the number frame, but no, running well down the wing. 3 tries, outstanding 2 in a couple of minutes indeed. Leroy putting Huddersfield back in the hunt against KR. Well played. And number 4, Tim Lafai of the Salford Red Devils. We have been waxing lyrically about this player all year, and yet again he was superb for the Salford Red Devils against the Wakefield Trinity. And number 5 will be his partner in crime, Joe Burgess. His second hat-trick of the season, albeit that last try, Mr. Burgess, looked to me as if you had at least one toe in touch. And number 6 will be the architect of the win, Mr. Brodie Croft of the Salford Red Devils, another player that we told you to keep an eye on this year, and as the season's going on, he's getting better, and he's getting better. A great try, plenty of assisting, well played, Mr. Croft. At number 7, keeping out Danny Richardson, will be Will Price of Huddersfield Giants. Spent a lot of time on the sidelines this season, but Mr. Price in this game played very, very well. What a step for his try as well. Congratulations to Mr. Price. At number 8, well, it had to be big Alex Walmsley, a prop forward scoring 2 tries. Oh, we cannot keep him out, can we? Outstanding display, Mr. Walmsley. That's what we're talking about as the World Cup looms large. At number 9 and at hooker will be Matt Parcell. Yes, Matt Parcell, even though Hull KR were on the losing side, of course, in their game, he had a fantastic performance, a great try, a great assist. Mr. Parcell, very, very well done indeed. At number 10, it's Liam Watts of the Castleford Tigers. A great display from Mr. Watts, 120 metres, laying the platform for a superb win against the Catalan Dragons. At number 11, Curtis Sivernon of St Helens, his second appearance of the season at second row. Mr. Sivernon now really starting to look the part in the St Helens outfit. Well played, sir. Well played. At number 12, it will be Callum Watkins back in the second row. And another very good game indeed. A very simple try in this game, but he is looking the part, isn't he? Well done, Mr. Watkins. Could he go to the World Cup? And at number 13, keeping his place week on week is the quality Ben Garcia. Yes, he might have been on the losing side, but Mr. Garcia was the pick of the loose forwards this week. It's not just about a ball around the back, is it? And a team of the week for round 16, here it is. We hope you enjoy. Well, there you go, team of the week for round number 16. A couple of, I think people will, you all right? All right, you love it, don't you? You do, you love it. It's good. It is good. Anyway, I don't get me wrong. There'll be a lot of people shouting at, I'm sure, at some of them selections. Danny Richardson maybe for Castleford Tigers, maybe at 7. Bevan French superb for Wigan, maybe over Ryan Braley in there as well.
No, I'd have had Joe Westerman there. I must have
Joe Westerman,
I thought I'd have
forward. Yeah, but again, Garcia was outstanding for Catalan.
And again, Morgan Knowles.
Well, again, like I say, it's not all about a ball around the back, is it? I mean, I'm sure Morgan at some point this season will get in there, but
I think he's been in once, hasn't he? I think he has been in once.
Has he been in once? Has he been in once this year?
I think we had him once.
St Helens fans now are, having real palpitations over this one. But, it just happens to be that, all right, don't get me wrong, consistently, Morgan Knowles is a very, very talented individual. But on the weeks, I just think that he's being picked for displays that are better. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's just the way it is. But there you go, the team of the week. Obviously, Alex Walmsley, phenomenal against Leeds. I mean, he loves playing against it. I think I sent you a text.
I can't remember now. Who did get man of the match in that game? Was it Walms?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. But in fact, who did? Let's have a quick look. I've got the League Express with me here. They gave it to Morgan Knowles. Morgan Knowles. Conrad Hall was second and Walmsley was first. It just beggars belief, mate.
Genuinely like the Emperor's.
It beggars belief, mate.
It's like the Emperor's new clothes, and it genuinely
beggars belief. Anyway, so there's the team of the week. Let's move on. Let's move on to how they stand. Let's do that. So here we go. How they stand. This is, of course, the Super League table, and St Helens now a 4-point gap has opened up at the top of Super League. They're looking handsome for the hubcap, now known, of course, as the League Leaders Shield. It looks a lot better these days. It's a much nicer shield than it used to be. A bit more polished, a bit more class about it. Let's put it that way. Wigan Warriors, of course, are now into second place. Bad week for Catalan, dropping 2 places week on week. They'll be disappointed with that. Huddersfield, of course, going from strength to strength. Big concerns, I'm sure. Tracy and Steve over Hull FC. We said last week, could this be a bit of free fall? We'll see this weekend. Castleford, great win for them. They'll be delighted. KR, of course, struggling. Salford did wonders for their points difference, of course, taking over the Warrington Wolves on that basis. And then, of course, Leeds now dropping back down the table, really starting to struggle. Wakefield, of course, down there as well. That point difference now. I mean, look at that. Toulouse Olympic, 449 conceded to Wakefield 440. That's got to be a concern. And and when you look at the points scored as well, only slightly above. So as you say, Wakefield. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's distorted a little bit by the Salford score. I grant you, but as you say,
I still think Toulouse are going to be the ones that drop out.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. Unless they decide to keep him in. This is the Rugby Football League, and promote somebody and go to a...
You know what? I wouldn't mind if they bring Liam Featherstone in. I wouldn't mind that.
It gets rid of the round robin game, mate. So,
those loot fixtures are an absolute...
Yeah, just get rid of him.
Joke.
Yeah. And we're talking about expansion. Expand. Yeah. You know, Leah full-time. Featherstone have clearly got ambition, albeit, I must admit, a trip to Post Office Road does not fill my heart with joy. But you know what? That's life,
it's always a tricky ground to go to.
Or Greg Roach here. Who will finish higher, Leeds or the Wire? I'm going the Wire. Going the Wire on that, I have to say. What's your thoughts on that, Greg?
I would like to think Warrington.
Yeah.
We'll see after the salt. We'll see after this weekend.
Freddie McGill be saying he's getting vertigo. Oh, well done. And Tracy, he's really starting to panic now. Reference Hull FC's top 6 credentials. Right, guys. Prediction League. We can announce that last week the Super League Fans Forum and I got, I think it was 13 points. Greg got 14 points. So the Fans Forum stay up there. Am I right? No, sorry. Fans Forum also got 14. My apologies. So both Greg and the Fans Forum getting 14. I got 13, which means now there is 1 point between Greg and I and the Fans Forum.
I take it I'm in wooden spoon position, virtue of alphabetical order. Then
just because you were there last week and I couldn't be bothered changing the graphic.
Thanks for that.
That's the honest answer. If you obviously, if the points, be assured, sir, if you take over me on points, you will climb that ladder. But just for speed and ease,
I would like to think so.
For speed and ease, sir, I left it where it was.
We are not how we not the RFL, sir.
Right, round 17. Here it is. Well, what matches we've got here. A Castleford Tigers fresh off the back of a great win against the Catalan Dragons, taking on the inform Huddersfield Giants. Catalan Dragon, of course, couldn't have got worse preparation for the Mighty Saints as they, of course, travel over to Perpignan. Then, of course, Hull FC taking on Leeds. Big games for the two-men picture.
That's the game. I think that's the game of the weekend.
That's a big arm wrestle. Huge arm wrestle there. Toulouse, of course, taking on Hull KR. Toulouse will be quite happy, I'm sure, going up against KR. I think, you know, that's going to be, again, on current form, the way things currently land. If Toulouse have got any ambitions to maybe go up the table, and of course, Wakefield, they're taking on Wigan. So all of a sudden, that 6-point cushion could be fought at the end of this weekend. You know, you never know. And of course, finally bringing the curtain down will be the Warrington Wolves taking on the flying Salford Red Devils.
We're going to that game, aren't we?
Indeed. It's going to be be interesting.
Yeah, I promised to buy a Salford fan a birthday drink when I was at the international game.
Well, I'm sure they won't forget.
So hopefully I'll turn up.
Yeah.
And
Tracy Wilson saying that Hodgson might have to put his shirt on and play at the back for us. Actually, speaking of which, if I may, just for a moment, at the end of that game, before we take a look at and start doing the predictions, obviously we've got the Fans Forum predictions. I just want to pay tribute to Hull FC players and to Brett Hodgson. In fact, actually knowing Brett Hodgson, I'm not surprised. After the game, me and my lad went over to where Sky were doing the end of game interviews. Delighted to say the legend that is Brett Hodgson had his photograph took with my son. And I actually introduced Brett Hodgson to my son as, here is a legend. To which Brett gave me a little wink and was fully appreciative. But actually, credit to the Hull FC. This is what makes rugby league for me, right? Yeah. At the end of the game, Hull bitterly disappointed. They went over to the fans as they do, you know, they give them the clap. But credit to the whole team, at least 5 or 6 players. Lee Gisau, definitely, Chris Satire definitely saw do it as well. Rather than just go from the Hull fans all the way off down the tunnel, they purposely went on the hoardings down the South Stand and stopped to have photographs taken and sign autographs for Warrington fans.
I saw
that. Absolute credit to the Hull FC players. I mean, that's what it's all about. The war is over, the game is over.
Yeah.
And to go and to interact with opposition fans like they do, you wouldn't see footballers do that.
No.
So, you know, credit to the Hull FC players. Well done.
Yeah, I remember when we beat Broncos a few years ago. I remember Alfie Langer getting off the coach to pose with my daughter, to have a picture taken with the daughter. Brilliant. It's like, wow, you wouldn't get you might get Ronaldo doing that, to be honest, but you wouldn't get a lot of of footballers doing that. And that's the beauty of the sport. And that's why it's got to be promoted.
Yeah, Tracy, I mean, again, Tracy, forgive me if I'm wrong on this one. You're saying that they do that most home games. They didn't do that to the away fans. This was away supporters. They actually went to the away supporters. They went to the Warrington fans on the way off the field and stopped to have the photos taken with young supporters. My little lad's 9, and these kids were a lot younger than them. And it was a touch of class, real. And they were properly interacting with them as well. I thought, fair play to them. Really impressed.
And another thing, I've got a friend on Facebook, and we see them every week outside the Halliwell Jones with the players of both sides, having photographs taken with players from both teams. Yeah. That's brilliant, and I don't want that to stop.
No,
that is absolutely fantastic. That's where the community element of rugby league comes in.
I agree with you, mate. It's what makes our sport fantastic. Right. So I just thought
Warrington fans actually appreciated the effort from Hull.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it was a war, mate. It was a war. It was a war of attrition.
A player goes off with a broken leg. A player goes off with concussion. They've got a string of injuries.
Yeah.
And they could have still won that game in the last few minutes.
Yeah. And, as I'm putting up the graphic for our first conversation around 17, credit to Alex Mellor, who had a really good debut for Castleford Tigers. Of course, debut, making a real good impression. I'm sure the Castleford Tigers fans were most impressed by Alex Mellor during that game. Right, Menderhost Jungle, Friday night, 8 o'clock, live on Sky Sports. The Castleford Tigers taking on the Huddersfield Giants. As you see there, Tigers, Evans, McClellan, Sutcliffe, Watts out on this one. Doubtful, Gareth O'Brien, Jordan Turner. Two wins against the two French clubs there for Castleford. But Huddersfield Giants, I've got 6 on the run now since Wembley that they've won. Yeah, incredible form. And winning, with the exception of the Toulouse game, winning with some style, may I say.
Yeah.
So
we're I'm sure our Huddersfield friends will correct me. Were Warrington the last team to beat them?
Oh, possibly.
Might be wrong.
Possibly, could be. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Huddersfield Giants. Castleford, of course, couldn't come into this game better. The euphoria of a Golden Point win. The fans forum, Greg, 60%. Going the way of Huddersfield, but they think it's going to be tight, only by 8. Where do you see, mate?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, like you say, Castleford will be absolutely bouncing after that win against one of the top teams for the last 2 or 3 years. Too many injuries, too many suspensions or whatever. Too many injuries, a key suspension. I think Castleford 18, Huddersfield 18 plus.
It's a biggie. I'm going Huddersfield, but I'm going 9-17. So all of us going Huddersfield, but all going by different margins. By 8. I'm going 9-17. You're going by 18.
Yeah, sorry, Huddersfield fans. That's probably a Castleford win by 40-0. Sorry.
Well, we'll wait and see. Right, then on to Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff, live on Sky, the Stade Gilbert Brutesse. Dragons absentees, the big ones. Dean Warry still out, Jordan Desiree out, Arthur Morg out, Mike McMeekin out. And these are long.
Tom Davis.
Yeah, they're expected to be 4. But McMeekin's about 4 to 6 weeks to say, and that's the second time he's been out this season. And Davis, as yet, no firm word. Been a bit all over the place, as you can see there. Of course, losing to Huddersfield, now Castleford. They've just been a bit all over the place these last few weeks. Have Catalan. Saints come into this game in great form. LMS expected to be out. Percival still not expected to be back. Dodd, as we know, out for the season. Saints in great form. The fans forum, 75% going Saints by 8. Where do you see this one, mate?
I'm going to say Saints 18 plus again. I just think Saints will smash them.
Right. Okay.
They're on a roll.
I'm going Saints, but I'm going to go 9-17 again.
So again, this is going to be one of those games where I think Catalan will be competitive for the first 20-25 minutes. And then I think Saints will just run away with it.
I think the thing that the Saints have got the forwards and the backs, haven't they? But again, Stranger things have happened. If the Dragons can get on top down the centre, who knows? Who knows? Right, look at this. Hull FC fans, turn away. But that said, Leeds isn't much better. Hull FC, as you can see there now, of course, Carlos Tamarari added to the season now, out for the season. McNamara, Connor, Swift, Gale out, and I can never say it. That's the one, thank you. Suspended. Wigan, of course, the last time that they got a win, that was, of course, just before the final, if you recall. Albeit it was a very strong Wigan side. Let's not discredit that win. It was a very, very strong Wigan side that they beat on the day. But yeah, Hull really, really starting to struggle. But they're coming up against the Leeds outfit that, let's be fair, isn't doing much better. You know, Tavano, Harry Newman, and Bodine Thompson all out suspended. Morgan Gannon still out. Briscoe, Walker, Holroyd, and doubtful Johnson and Ash Handley as well, which is quite a surprise.
Yes.
And the fans forum, they're going to go. Oh, here we go. They go Hull FC by 8. So again, another tight game. The fans forum is predicting here 57% going with Hull FC. Where do you see this one?
This genuinely is too tight to call. You've got Bentley out as well. For the Leeds.
No, he isn't. I don't think he didn't get a ban.
Oh, he didn't. No, sorry.
No.
Sorry, a bit of a brain fart there.
Yeah.
I know it's a difficult one, isn't it?
It is difficult. This one.
It's a difficult one.
It is a difficult one.
I am going to go. I'm going to go home advantage, and I think that's what will sway it. And I'm going to go Hull 9-17.
Right. Really sorry here.
I just think Leeds are in a bit of disarray.
They are in disarray, mate. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm going to go a bit tighter. I'm still going to go Hull, but I'm going to go with a 4. I'm going to say 0-8. Well, by 8, should I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think it might be a bit tighter. It could go either way, though, that one. Yeah. Steve Wilson saying Bentley won't be on for the full game. You may be right. You may be right. Right. Toulouse taking on Hull KR. 57% going with Toulouse on this one. 0-8 by 8 again. Obviously, Robbins, Abdul out for the season. Lynette still expected to be out. Garrett, Tagarangi out. Johnson, and of course Ryan Hall and George King not expected to be a part of this team either this week. Again, the stability of Toulouse, they know what they're all about. This, we said earlier on about the Tony Smith factor, him leaving. It's probably bitten them this, to be honest with you. If Toulouse are going to pick a result up, it could be this one. Where are you thinking?
It is. This is the second toughest one to call of the weekend. Hull KR have got to turn it around at some point, and I think they will. I think they'll win 0-8, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to golden point.
So you're going for a proper arm wrestle?
I'm going for a cheeky 1 point to 0-8. Yeah.
It's a really tough one. It's a tough one. This. It is a tough one. This. Oh dear, it really is. It really is a tough call. This. I'm going to lose. I'm going to go to lose. I'm going to go to lose, and I'm going to go to lose.
You're just being awkward.
I am. Do you know what? I'm going to go big. I'm going 9-17 to lose.
Okay.
I am going to go big.
That's my wife sneezing, by the way. Nobody's being murdered. That was just my wife.
I'm going to go to lose. John Wilkinson's going to lose by 12. Steve Wilson thinks that Rovers will edge it. All interesting. Freddie McGilvey also thinking that Toulouse might be the winners on this one.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. And I like I say, I think it may well go to golden point.
It might do. Yeah. Right, Wakefield off the thrashing at Salford, coming up against an on-fire, in-form Wigan. Wigan really getting their act together again, now starting to really look the part. When you look at those last few results, all down at the back, at the Wakefield end of the table, Castleford, Salford, Toulouse, and they put good numbers up against them, 32-12, 30-12, 46. Fans Forum, not surprised. Well, the only surprise with the Fans Forum is that there's actually people who think Wakefield could win it. 80% Wigan, 18 plus. I'm just being honest. I mean, coming into this game, I can't believe that, people were even consider. I mean, and this might bite me next week, but I'm amazed that 20% of the Fans Forum who voted went away at Wakefield.
I think they may well be Wakefield fans, sir.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny. We don't back Warrington every week, and we don't.
No.
So it's one of them. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'll just say it straight away. I'm going 18 plus Wigan. I'm with the Fans Forum.
18 plus Wigan. Interesting. Wakefield have got to respond to that. They've got to respond to that, and I think they will. And I think Wigan will win by 18 or more.
There you go. And then finally. No real surprises there. And then finally, the big one at the Halliwell Jones again at that end of the table. Salford off the back of a great win. Philbin, of course, now after the season. Jack Hughes also expected not to play. You can see the Warrington form there, and only a 4-0 win to show against Hull, against a team who, when you look at it there, I mean, and again, it was a mad result that, because if you look at Leeds, yeah, all right, they scored 23 there. They scored 30 against Cass, 16, when they lost to KR, 12 Wigan. Nobody sees a 74-10 coming. It's one of those. The Fans Forum are going Salford, though, maybe off the back of what was an incredible performance against Wakefield. 80% going Salford, 9-17 they see this one. Where do you see, Greg?
Right. What I see is a team that clicked last weekend, a team that had halfbacks working with a good pack, laying a platform.
Yeah.
I see a team that has been criticised for the size of its pack for most of the season, has tried to address that, but then has a halfback pairing that...
I thought Matauti worked at standoff.
But still lacked the intelligence to see that a player was carrying an injury and attack that side of the pitch.
Okay.
And that's what concerns me. A lack of intelligence against a team that has a lot of intelligent players.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying Warrington don't have intelligent players. I'm just saying they're not using it at this moment in time. And I think Salford are going to win by 18 plus.
Mad.
I really do.
That's a huge shout. That
hurts me. That hurts me as a Warrington fan to say that.
Yeah.
But
okay.
When you've got a team that can't put to bed, and again, no disrespect to you Hull fans, can't put to bed a team that is struggling with injuries and suffers major injuries to a halfback, or a head injury to a halfback, and a major injury to strike player, and can't even score a try against that team. Yes, we stopped them from scoring.
Yeah.
But they had no halfbacks. They had no winger.
Oh, and they're coming up against, and of course the Sneed factor. We know that Sneed's deadly, absolutely deadly from all over the park.
Salford beat us when we got a decent team, and I'm going to go to this game, because I'm a Warrington fan and I have to be there. But I just think if Salford click like they did against Wakefield, we're dead in the water.
But again, though, mate, if any team clicks, if Saints click, if Wigan click, if Warrington, even Warrington with the form that they've been in this season, if they click, they can go and destroy anybody. But the point, so you're going 18 plus.
Yeah, the problem is if Saints click every week. Wigan click every week.
I don't disagree, but the point is
we've not clicked yet.
No, but it could be this week. I'm going Warrington. I'm going to go against you now. I'm going to go Warrington 9-17, just because I can.
And I hope that you're right, but
I'm going to go. I think. I mean, the relief on the Warrington place to just get the 2 points last week. They've not had that. It's like Paul was saying after the game. To do the song in the changing rooms and all of that. I said during the game, sometimes you've got to win ugly to get going again, and that was ugly. But do you know what? He could just take him on. It could do. Who knows? Brodie Croft, great player. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. As always, there's the disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen. We do this for the love of the game. Thank you to the Super League YouTube channel where we take all of our highlights from. Make sure you catch all the highlights literally a couple of hours after each and every game. So that pretty much brings this edition of Super League Raw Weekly to a close. Greg, it's been a wonderful evening. Thank you very much indeed for your company.
I hope I've not talked too much rubbish tonight.
No.
But if any Salford fans want to say hello at the King's Head on Sunday afternoon,
we'll be in there about quarter. I'll be there about 1:45. I would have thought. I'll be joining you for that.
Yeah, I've got the dreaded camping trip on this weekend, so I'll be there about 2:00.
Fair play. Well, I'll see you in there for a swift one before the game. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go, it'd be only right and fitting for us to close this show with the famous words of Mr. Gration at the end of the Super League show on the BBC. So in tribute to him, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your rugby league. We do.
See you soon, guys.
All the best. Bye now.